Hi, we're the Beastie Boys.
Yep. And
You're watching Raw.
Raw on MTV. Bass.
Big Daddy was epic. You know, Big Daddy definitely set a tone with the way that he delivered his rhymes, the way he structured stuff.
Setting it off.
Beginning.
Yep.
Big Daddy Kane is an amazing MC, great lyricist.
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of like...
He's smooth.
Yeah. Like Rakim, Big Daddy Kane were like two MCs that just came out with like really distinctive flows, voices, and just like kind of almost like raised a bar for where like an MC should be coming from in a way.
Talk about changing the game, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely, they kind of snuck up.
They subtly changed the game.
They kind of like snuck up on people, I think. There was like, they sucker punched people. Because they had a certain subtlety to what they were doing when most people were screaming. Most people in the game were screaming at the time. And they kind of came... I remember Eric Sermon coming up to me at some Def Jam function before their album came out. And he was like, yo, I like you dudes, man. What's up, yo? Yo, have you heard my album? And I said,
Have you heard my album?
I was like, no, I haven't heard it. And he's like, you should check it out, man. You should check my shit out.
We're all, I think... 3 huge EPMD fans.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many parties you'll be at where it's like you hear like You Got to Chill drop. It's like just still sounds phenomenal.
Or just like the whole concept of the song, like You're a Customer.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do the Steve Martin, You're a Customer, big hits. Love KRS-One, huge KRS fan.
Big fan.
Lay down the law basically when he came out.
The Teacher.
I mean, Criminal Minded, again, not to sound like a broken record, but changed the game for sure. Just like stripped down beats, representing Boogie Down Bronx, but then talking about, like, in the hardest way possible, like, just with a real hard record, but talking about very serious subject matter. I mean, The Teacher, you know, like, my philosophy, you know, poetry, like...
I just like his confidence, the way that he came behind his rhymes when he came in. It's just like, you still listen to those records today, and it's just, like, pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, KRS-One definitely, it's like, still, to this day, like, represented hip-hop. Chuck D, Public Enemy, just whatever, incredible. Like, they just completely inspiring. Definitely changed the game in terms of showing, like, how powerful, like, hip-hop, lyrical message, lyrics, you know, the combination of, like, Chuck's voice and rhyming skills and lyrical skills.
And the sound of the music.
Yeah, Bomb Squad, production is incredible.
Definitely one of the most important artists group of, you know, of our time.
Yeah, I think Public Enemy really took things to a whole different level, completely changed the game. Tribe Called Quest is another important, like, notch in the game. Like, it's real. I mean, you're definitely naming a lot of real important things. Tribe definitely sort of carved out their own niche with the whole the nasal tongues tribe.
Yeah. Also, good-looking kids, nice guys.
Yeah. Tip was real cool.
Yeah, no, really, seriously, like, Chuck was, we toured with them, played with them, like, they were definitely some of the coolest MCs to just, like, hang out with, and just really creative people, like, all of them, like, just the way that they took, like, different music and used samples and flipped samples, and just also lyric, like, the combination of, like, you know, Tip would be over here with his thing, and his voice is one thing, and his subject matter is one thing, and then Fife is, like, kind of somewhere else, but somehow it just, like, it really complements each other.
Yeah, in a sense, like, Tribe comes from that school that comes just after what we were talking about how Rakim kind of, like, changed everything by coming with a more kind of subtle tone, and then groups like Tribe and De La Soul,
Jungle Brothers,
EPMD, Jungle Brothers, a lot of these groups kind of, like, came just behind that change in the climate.
Jump around.
Jump around.
Yeah.
Everlast. Nice guy.
Yeah, nice guy.
I mean, I think it was kind of cool when they came with that record, because if you listen to kind of like almost the accent or the way that Everlast is rhyming on that song you're talking about, Jump Around, it's definitely kind of a unique flow, and like the way that the music is looped too. It's definitely like some circus music or something. They definitely came on a different tangent. It was definitely cool when that record came out. There's a little curveball on that joint.
They have their niche in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I really like When They Reminisce Over You.
Yeah,
one of my favorite rap singles.
I mean, I actually honestly feel like I could have heard more from them, like, because Reminisce was just like a hot joint, and also there's that moment where, like, Pete Rock was just like a nice producer for a while. Like, definitely he had his moment. Like actually he did that. What was the Public Enemy remix he did? I think it was like Arizona.
Oh, he did?
He did like
I don't know if I know
I think
that.
it was Arizona.
Arizona.
He just a remix that
did
was
a
just
remix.
not the main track, but he did a remix that was just nice. He had definitely had his moment where it's like this whole run of like you heard a Pete Rock jam, and it's just like a distinctive thing. You're like, it sounded right. Cypress Hill.
They hit. You know, when they came with that first record, it was kind of nice too. Like
They
the
changed
way
the
that
game.
Yeah, they did change the name.
They definitely had, you know, a little curveball on what they threw out there.
They
Well,
had
with
their
Muggs'
niche in the
production, and then like also coming from like being like West Coast, but coming with like a Latina vibe or whatever, you know, like that, like they're coming from their own place. Like I think, like a lot of groups, even in a way like us or Run DMC, like Cypress Hill, like a lot of like whenever you have like a group that came into the game that kind of just represented like just their own identity and brought that in that was different than anything else before it. That's always been like a cool thing with hip hop.
And like Sendog, particularly Sendog, coming with the beta voice,
Yep.
and
Nice
rhyming
guys.
in Spanish too. He had a whole track where he rhymed in Spanish, which was nice.
Good looking, sexy, hunkish. I wouldn't know how you-
Hunkish?
yeah, hunky, beefy. Like that's how I would say, like male model kind of ish.
Maybe they rhyme too much about food. Those guys, they don't really know what they're giving
Blue
us.
Steel.
Blue Steel, Magnum, Zoolander, hurt by their
They kind of ruined the
stunning
game.
looks.
Really, you could sum it up by saying they ruined the game.
Hot like Hansel.